The bounty hunters. Charlie stares as she sees the multiple chambers being welded together and the clear blue sheen of tritite. The entire warehouse has numerous small cleaning drones going around as weapon racks are being arranged. J3 leads her right to Bike, who's typing up his report to the Dauntless in German in order to ensure that nothing gets fiddled with. "Good afternoon, Miss Lair," Bike says, turning around on his seat and gesturing to a rolling chair nearby. "Have a seat. We should talk. J3, get us some Taizong." J3 nods before heading off to grab the snacks and restraints. The order for tisane meant only one thing. She was not friendly and unaware of their awareness. The little break room has some teas, and under the one that's turned to the left is a message written in English. No relation to Plumage, not a co-worker, employer, or adopted cousin. He makes no move as if he recognized the words or if they meant anything to him as he gets the local tea ready. So Charlie's a liar. That could mean anything from an idiot looking to get in good with Target Actual or an outright enemy combatant maneuvering into position. Either way, she's no longer Charlie, she's Target Secondary Actual. Just another problem. He walks back whistling as if he hasn't got a care in the world. He also shifted his tri-tight boot knife so it's hidden comfortably behind his back. He just needs to establish himself as a guy who sits kinda weird, and he'll have it on hand at any moment. "Here we go, local tisane. I hope you don't mind homegrown. What we consider more than just mild flavorings you consider highly toxic," J3 says as he returns with the pot and a few cups. "Toxic? We evolved on a poison-heavy planet, so even the Canada think that we're kinda crazy," J3 says in a friendly tone. As Charlie stares at him, Bike winks with the left eye. J3's head tilts ever so slightly. "So ma'am, we need as much information as you're capable of giving us. Otherwise we will fail miserably in this operation," Bike states. "Come on, play nice. She's taking a big risk speaking to us." J3 argues back on the soft sell. "A bigger risk not to. Miss, we need everything you can give us, and everything you hold back could be hundreds of corpses in price. Are you willing to pay that price?" Bike grills her. "Easy man, she's just a civilian," J3 protests. "Civilian or not, we need information. Anything she tells us is weighed in rivers of blood," Bike says darkly. J3's face darkens at this, and he struggles not to grin as Charlie starts to squirm. She's a good actress, but he trusts Bike's observations. "But this, Charlie says as she takes the tisane and takes a fortifying sip. It's a local tart blend, akin to cranberry tea. Not the tastiest, but it's got enough flavor to be more than hot water." She relaxes when J3 takes a fairly large gulp of his own. There's a touch of the facade breaking. She's paranoid about them, suspecting poison despite theoretically being on the same side as them. "Let's start from the beginning," Bike says, and J3 smirks. He's already trying to establish a baseline for how the girl lies and what she lies about. "What is your name and occupation for the record?" "I'm Charlie Lair. I used to work at Elbar Pharmaceuticals, currently unemployed and living off my savings," Charlie says with her body really tense before suddenly relaxing and looking a little confused. No one misses that touch of body language. "We'll be able to help with that. We don't leave our friends behind," J3 assures her, and she looks very uncomfortable. Really? She's cracking already? What was she bribed with that something that simple is making her squirm? "Thank you," she says quietly before looking towards the tri-tight chamber still being constructed. "How soon will that be finished?" "Not much longer. Most power armor can easily integrate a few construction components to really speed up build times," J3 tells her. "Speaking of time, it's time for more. Again, we're sticking with basics. When did she first become known across this world? It's easily observable that people live in fear of her." "But how did they learn this?" Bike asks. It was building up for a few years, whispers and rumors, nothing distinct, only that if someone did something against her or went against her, then they'd end up in a bad accident. Then, a year ago, it changed completely. She was infamous already, no one could prove anything, but we all knew it was her. Then just talking about her started doing that electrical thing. The death field was over the planet and we couldn't do a thing about it. Has the field been tested? Yes. Trying to use her name at all brings pain even if you're praising her or begging for mercy or offering a deal. It always ends in zap, zap, and zap. Then it got worse. Just writing her name down was enough, and then typing it was enough, and we tried, you know? A lot of people died in those first few days, and just going near the bodies caused even more death. Entire cities were emptied in the first few weeks, and we couldn't even call for help. Trying just got more people killed. I see. Bike answers as he types this all down. J3 puts his hand on her shoulder. What else? What has she been doing with this complete impunity? I don't know. She stays in the abandoned cities most of the time, at least. We think it's her doing something in the cities. Someone is in the abandoned towns and cities and someone is doing something, but we have no idea what. Can you describe what she looks like? Not anymore, Charlie says, and there's a pause. I think we need a bit of an explanation there, miss, J3 says. She kidnapped and had a very skilled doctor work on her, one that specialized in bringing out separate ancestries. The doctor was found dead later, but her name also brings up a zap, but not a big one. Are there other taboo words? Bike asks. We can't name any of the abandoned towns or cities. Some companies are going unnamed now. I thought Elbar was one and was expecting to catch a zap with my hat, but didn't. I don't know why not. Charlie explains as she brings up her taloned feet to grip the edges of the chair. She's clearly uncertain and uncomfortable. So she's clearly doing something and is using the field to keep prying eyes away. But what and why? What is so heinous that it's better to cover an entire world in a death-bringing field than simply be caught doing it? Bike asks. We don't have to go that far. Some people are just monsters, scumbags, and high on their own sense of power. She might just be doing this for kicks to see how far she can push things before people retaliate. J3 notes, speaking of retaliation, you mentioned earlier that orbital bombardment was tried and failed. We need specifics, Bike says, and Charlie hugs herself. If J3 didn't know she was actively lying to them, he would feel sympathy for her. But as it is, he simply fakes falling for the ruse. It's okay. Take your time and let it out at your own pace, he assures the Valryn. Stop babying the woman. She's 4 times your age. Bike snaps. Wait, you're how old? Charlie demands in shock. Neither of us are in our 30s yet, making you easily 4 times our age. So act like that time was spent being something other than completely useless and start answering questions. How was the orbital bombardment performed and what were the results? Bike demands as Charlie just looks from J3 to Bike over and over again as she starts to process things. Then the woman just falls apart and starts outright weeping into her wings. Miss, please calm down. Tears won't help. We can, but only if you're willing to talk to us. J3 pleads as he pulls her away from Bike and the computers a bit. He also tosses his communicator to his fellow in case things get really stupid. You don't understand. You can't beat her. No one can. I was hoping for some kind of ancient apex warrior, but you're children. Child Trets playing at being heroes, you can't do anything. There's no stopping Vsuda. She doesn't get to finish the name as J3's left hand clamps around her jaw and holds her mouth shut. It was too much and he draws his knife with his right and hurls it into the building energy. The handle is charred black as the metal is heated into a glowing state from the sheer energy. The discharge is still so massive that energy still crashes down into them, only to be sucked up into and burning the fuzzy outer layer of the protective headgear Charlie's wearing. It overloads and cooks, but the storm passes, and J3 peels off the heated helmet to throw it away. The smell of burning fabric and hair fills the area as everyone watches to stare. There is no static buildup. Whatever happened in the Elbar office building has not happened here. There's a few moments of tense silence as everyone waits for the next thing to happen. But nothing does. Okay, no more bullshit. No more run around. We know you lied to us. J3 snarls down at the terrified woman he still has pinned to the floor. You have no relation with Edith Plumage. You never worked for Elbar, and the moment we found that out, we were pumping you for information. But let me make one thing clear. Whether you're an idiot looking for a ride out of town, an agent of the enemy, or just a habitual liar, you need to know this. She will die. Her network will be torn to pieces, and when we hit her, it will be so fucking fast she will never know what killed her or how. Understand? She nods a little. Good. I'm gonna let you go now. Do something that's stupid again and you won't have to wait for the energy field to hit you, because I will have killed you with my bare fucking hands before the lightning can even strike. Do you understand me? J3 snarls in her face and she nods fiercely. Good. Now we want the truth. He lets go and rises up to tower above her. He makes now move to help her up as she stares up at him in abject terror. Who are you people? We're the last people that should be toyed with by anyone. J3 replies, placing huge emphasis on the word anyone. Cool it, J3. Miss Layer. It's time for some honesty. You've given us some facts I'm able to confirm. But what was your involvement in all this? How did you know Edith Plumage? You two were never publicly seen together, are of no relation legal or biological, and never worked at the same building or for the same company. You've only lived in the same city and have vaguely similar office work jobs. How did you know she sent out the call? How did you know her? Bike's question come fast and forced Charlie to focus on something other than J3 stepping to the side to give her and him a clear path to each other. I did know her. I did, Charlie protests as she scrambles upright. She looks to see her capacitor helmet and it's a broken and charred mess. We have no evidence of that, Bike says plainly as Charlie turns away from the glaring J3 nervously. We spoke in hollow rooms. They're unrecorded, but Edith's username was Notabird12 and mine was FlipFlapFly. Check the accounts. Edith stops the very day she sent out the call, and it's my fault. I told her to be brave, that it's been a long time since anyone wrote down her name, and we might be able to get a call for help out. What's the program you used? Bike asks. Grand Hollow Chat Theater. It's old but good. Charlie confirms, and Bike zooms over to the computer and starts typing furiously. He's at the HoloChat site in seconds and has gotten administrative access less than a minute later. Here we go. Hidden archive. Bike notes out loud. Hidden what? Charlie demands. Hidden archive. Companies put in all sorts of sleight of hand bullshit in legal agreements. In this case, you're consenting to being recorded and your personal conversations retained for up to 5 years. This information can be sold or handed out at the company's whim, Bike says as he brings up a recording of the last conversation between Notabird12 and FlipFlapFly. The recording is in split-screen style, showing the menu uses and a readout of both users. One side shows a Tret woman that could easily have been the charred corpse in the Elbar building, and the other is definitely Charlie. Then they both take on different avatars. Notabird12 literally makes herself look like a giant parrot person in bright blue, and FlipFlapFly palette swaps her feathers pink, changes the clothes in a bright pink dress, and puts up a smiley face emoticon in front of her face like a mask. It then blurs the rest of her head. Why the pink? J3 asks. I like pink, Charlie protests. Both of you shut it. Bike snaps as the recording plays. It shows Notabird12 just sort of standing around as FlipFlapFly tries to bug her into talking. It comes out that Notabird 12 is near the end of her rope and they try to hug, but it's just an online chat room with avatars. There's no way to actually comfort each other beyond words. I can't take it anymore. It's too much. The fear, the pain. I can't. We need help. The parrot avatar all but wails. She's clearly having a shit day. But what can we do but be brave? It's not like we can tell people what's going on, and every big crowd is watched carefully in case they get close to any place important. Flip Flap Fly's response is deadpan. She's not being very sympathetic. Charlie flinches at the memory and buries her face in her wings, so that's what's going on. There has to be something. Anything. When was the last time we tried? Notabird 12 demands and Flip Flap Fly shrugs. Months ago, but maybe a text request? No one's tried writing it for a while and maybe she's getting careless. She offers and Notabird 12 seems to perk up. That's it. Yes, she must have looked away by now. We have a way out. We can get help. Notabird 12 exclaims before her avatar goes still. Wait, no, don't. Flip Flap Fly is ignored and then she waves her wing in front of the parrot's face. Oh no, oh please no. Charlie is outright sobbing into her feathers now. The chat room crashes to black as Flip Flap Fly stops responding and it times out after 15 seconds of inactivity. J3 gently pulls her into a hug and any previous fear she had of him is forgotten as she throws her wings around him and outright sobs into his chest. Timing lines up. 5 minutes later, the lightning hit. A couple of cameras show Miss Layer here flying frantically to the L-Bar office building. She then stops and turns back after the lighting strike. Bike says as he brings up security camera footage, and the video pauses on Charlie's horrified face, weeping openly and screaming in pain after the lightning strike. It's going to be okay. We're here now and we're going to put that monster in the grave where she belongs.